Cup and you win it. The new European champions, the treble, the dream come true for you.
Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Football, bloody hell.
Hello, guys, to the currently 0 people that are in here. But no one's in here right now, but we're back for another Premier League game week review. How are you, Kyne?
I'm not too bad, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, cheers. Yeah, as my camera's just gone out of focus yet again. So it's been a rocky week for us as United fans, despite you trolling about our own club.
Yeah, it's just a bit, you know.
Yeah, it's a bit of banter. I understand. You know that I like the banter. But yeah, it's been a hell of a rocky week. As soon as my camera goes into focus, I'll properly start speaking. But we'll go into it first. We'll get into the Crystal Palace 3, Norwich 0 now. I was live streaming whilst this game was being played, and I had the Spurs game on at the same time. And Crystal Palace, obviously, it's only against Norwich, but they managed to score 3 against them. And previously, under Roy Hodgson, they probably would have scored 1. I want to ask your opinion on what Patrick Vieira is doing there. As soon as I really need my camera to go into focus, so I do apologise to anyone who's in it. What is your opinion on what Patrick Vieira is doing at Crystal Palace?
I think he's done well, to be fair, considering. I don't know if he's got any past managerial experience. I don't think he really does.
No, I think he managed at Monaco, was it? Or he was in France somewhere?
I'm not sure. But yeah, I think it was expected for Palace to win.
Yeah.
Because obviously the better side, Norwich, are definitely going down.
Yeah,
he's done a good job so far, but I
agree
think it's going to be a long process if they ever want to get to a top side.
No, yeah, I do agree with that. I also think he's building something which he's getting a few French players in. I think is Elise French. I'm not 100% sure if Elise is French. They've got Odsonne Edouard in, and Odsonne Edouard has managed to score 1 and get 2 assists in this game. Now, that's obviously a great performance, despite just being against Norwich. You can't really dismiss that performance for a Crystal Palace team. Now, do you think they're going to be challenging for top half, or do you think it's going to be something like Europa Conference League?
I think they'll safely get in the top half. I don't see them getting in Europe, but I think the top half's definitely like a certain thing.
Okay.
Also, even though Zaha is a really good player, I think he'll have to go for Palace to advance.
Yeah, he'll get linked with
how he is. With the way with Tanganga when they played Spurs, he's just a crybaby.
Yeah, I agree.
He talks on podcasts like he's a bit of a roadman. And
maybe he is though. Like maybe that's where he's from.
He could be, and that's still kind of why he acts how he does in the games. But he's just a bit over the top of it. There's no need every time to get in a bit of a fight with everyone.
No, I do agree with you there. He got sent off. Was it last week? He got sent off.
Yeah, because he didn't play against Norwich.
Yeah,
got sent off.
Yeah, and again, there's absolutely no need. He's an experienced Premier League player now. There should be some discipline there. There should be some sort of. He knows, you know what I mean, to stay emotionally calm during these situations, despite him being where he's from. For example, it's understandable if like Mason Greenwood, still quite a young player, gets het up in a situation like that, just for example, whereas Wilfried Zaha is still quite, he's experienced despite being, I'm not sure, is he 27, something like that? And
yeah, probably around that, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously he always gets linked with Arsenal. Can you see him going to Arsenal or another club at any point soon?
I think in the sense of, I don't know how they're looking to advance the club, what the plans are. But I'd say from my standpoint that he'd have to go.
Yeah.
Because if he is a crucial player for them, and he has been over the years, he's kept them up. But it's more of, you can't have that in your team because that's going to give other people ideas that they can act like that. Yeah. So if he constantly gets sent off and gets into fights, but still starts, other players are going to think it's acceptable.
Yeah.
So from that standpoint, he should go. And he's good enough to play for a team like Arsenal.
Yeah, he 100% is. He could Well, obviously he's not going to go straight to like the Aubameyang position, for example.
Yeah.
But they're going to be looking for replacements for attackers. Lacazette's linked with a move away. You've got Aubameyang linked with a move away, and I think Arsenal's game was one of the games that were postponed, wasn't it? Was it against?
Yeah.
Was it Wolves they were supposed to be playing and it got postponed? Which
So.
there's still a doubt which United versus Wolves could go ahead or not. Hopefully it does go ahead. Dia says, Sue. Everyone always comes in the chat with that at least once every stream, which is great. Going to Southampton Spurs, and this is quite an unpopular. Well, I don't know whether it is unpopular, but I've seen mixed opinions. I think Spurs have looked very good under Antonio Conte since he's come in, except this game. This game, they looked disjointed, they looked leggy. And whether that's because of the fixture congestion and they've got some COVID cases, etc., I don't know. What do you think? They've looked good, or do you think that it's going to take some time still?
I agree with that. Until Southampton, they have looked very good.
Yeah.
And Kane's been playing a bit better. He's scored a few goals. He should be scored, obviously. He's been recognised as one of the best strikers in the world for years.
Yeah.
So you'd expect him to bag a bit more. But yeah, they have played well. And I think we missed out on Conte. And although I understand with the, he kind of plays like Mourinho and the football, I'd happily, now with the state that we were in, is have a manager for 2 years and win at least one trophy, then go another 4 years with no trophy.
I agree with you there. I want to ask your opinion on this though. Would you say we got Conte then instead of getting Ralph Rangnick now, and Ralph Rangnick going into that consultancy role, which he will do, or it's very likely for him to do? Do you think we're in a better position now instead of getting Conte, or do you think you still would have preferred us to get Conte?
I think now, considering how it looks like we're going to go in the future with him going into a role and then getting a manager in, that's smarter than I thought we were going to do.
Definitely.
There was a lot of, we're just going to get an interim. He'll win a couple of games and we'll give him a permanent contract.
Yeah.
That was a worry. But
I could see that.
We're looking good in the sense of for the future, which I know we've said it since Alex Ferguson left, everything's about the future. But rebuilds take years.
Oh, and, yeah, for sure.
It could be 2 years until, we're back at the top, but it could also be 5 where a couple of players struggle and you've just got to get the right players for the right manager.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I don't know if you've seen over the past, I think, 24 to 48 hours, we've also been linked with Paul Mitchell, sporting director. I think he was at RB Leipzig. I think he started it. Was it Ipswich that he started at? I can't be 100% sure. But he's he's got a very good reputation, and he's spoken about very highly by a lot of clubs and a lot of people, senior figures within football, including Arsene Wenger. I've seen a quote from Arsene Wenger speaking highly of Paul Mitchell. It's got to be better than Phil Mitchell running the club. We'll get into a few comments here. The transfer window is near when you hear rumours that Arsenal are interested in Zaha. Definitely. Thoughts on Conte saying Dyer could become the best centre-back in the world? What do you think about that? I didn't know that he said that.
No, I don't think he'll ever be near that level.
No, I don't.
I'll always love him for the goal against Colombia, the penalty.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'll always love him for, regardless of what he does. He had a fight with a fan in the stands once.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I
rate it because apparently someone said something to his family, so it's understandable why he did it.
Oh, yeah.
If you didn't do it, he'd probably get slandered by the media.
Exactly, yeah.
By saying he let people talk about his family while he just walked off.
Yeah, exactly. You can't really win with the media nowadays, can you? Imani says, I hope you're all right, mate. Hope you're having a good day. Happy New Year's Eve. Happy New Year to anyone who it is currently New Year for. We'll go into the Watford 1, West Ham 4. Now, Saeed Benrahma scored, and I'm not sure if you remember me saying at the start of the season on these podcasts, Saeed Benrahma is a player that I genuinely like. I think he's a good player. However, he needs to get amongst the goals and assists more. Now, he's started well, and then he had a dip in form again. I do think he will push on from here, though, especially with this West Ham team. Now, I want to ask you a good question about this West Ham team. Do you think that they'll sustain these sort of results in the sense of challenging for Europa League, maybe even Champions League? Or do you think it's lucky in a sense? Because in my opinion, I think something very special has been built with with Moyes and with West Ham and Sullivan and the likes there?
I think they're not going to win the league this season.
Oh
It's
no,
quite
no.
clear. It's going to be City, I think. But I like the West Ham team, and I think they are going to go far. It's not luck. He knows what he's doing. He's been given time. He's been given the players that he wants. He's building his team. And I think they will win the Europa League, personally.
I think the favourites to win the Europa League, and to say that when you've got teams like Barcelona, obviously, when you say a team like Barcelona, a club like Barcelona, in your head you're thinking one of the biggest football institutions in the world, sort of one of the biggest clubs in the world, but the team doesn't represent that currently, does it? They are a Europa League team, and we have been a Europa League team in past years, and I've got to laugh about that, otherwise I'll cry. Now, I genuinely do think this West Ham team is currently better than the Barcelona team. And not just because of ability and things like that and tactics, also the hard work and the passion. You've got players like Thomas Souček, who's also got a goal the other day, and you've got players like Declan Rice, who obviously cares, despite he probably will leave in the summer. And you've got even players like Dawson, who he'd got relegated with Watford, who obviously they just played, and he's managed to go to West Ham and sort of revitalise his career. And in my opinion, it's good to see. Obviously, I hope we finish higher than them. And I know they're higher than us in the table right now, but it's almost good to see. I don't know if you've been enjoying the sort of rebuild of West Ham, but especially when Lingard was there, for example, I was like smiling and cheering Lingard on when he was celebrating it. Are you enjoying the sort of rebuild in the sense of, do you think it's been a good rebuild for them, or do you think it's sort of like, oh, we're sort of jealous of that in a way?
No, I think it's been good for them because I remember a couple of seasons ago, it will have been, they were in the Europa League, and they were kind of with Dimitri Payet. He was a baller.
Yeah.
But he ended up snaking him in a sense. He wanted more money. With Declan Rice, I think it goes one of two ways. Is he either leaves, I think he would love to stay there and play and succeed with the club if they do go on to win trophies. But from a club standpoint, they might need to sell him to bring in more players and have the quantity rather than the quality of the player.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I also think he's a Chelsea fan, and it seems that he will go to Chelsea. I know that Man United are said to be sort of obsessed with him as a player, but I just don't think we'll manage to get him over the line. I'm not sure that we're quite there, ready to get them sort of deals over the line and be that ruthless yet. I think that, like we say, Ralph Rangnick is coming in to coach the team for 6 months and then coach the club for 2 years. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think we're ready to be that ruthless and get them deals over the line. Now, where do you think West Ham will finish this season? Do you think it will be Europa League, or do you think they're going to challenge us for top 4?
I think they're going to challenge us for top 4. I think they will come 5th, though. I think we will get in the top 4 with Chelsea, Liverpool and City. But I think they will challenge for it in the sense of, as you said, the players are playing for the club and they want to succeed.
100%,
I don't really see any players who are playing, thinking, don't really matter, after 90 minutes I get paid. I can go home, do whatever.
Yeah.
Like Pogba, for example. That's what he does. They all want to play for the badge. Mark Noble being there, I think, gives them a very big advantage in the sense that they've got a captain who cares. And he loves, I think it's his last season, he said anyway.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
But that's one of the reasons with him, I think, can push him to win the Europa League. Even though he's not, the best midfielder in the world. He's just got that thing about him where if he's not playing a game, he's still in the sideline in the changing room.
And making an impact as well.
Giving the players, speaking to him.
Yeah, I agree with that. I completely agree with that. And it's always good to have that sort of player around your club. We had it with like Michael Carrick when he wasn't playing that much in his final season, was he? And even Ryan Giggs to a certain extent when he wasn't playing in his final season, that he wasn't player manager, if that makes sense. Ben Rahman is a class footballer. Yeah, I agree with that. West Ham better than Barcelona. Yeah. Ibrahim says, "Yo, I hope you're all right, Ibrahim." West Ham are far from Champions League, in my opinion. I think they're going to struggle playing Thursday and Sunday later on in the season. I'm not sure they will. I think they've got just enough. I do apologise for my camera being sort of weird. I think they've got just enough to sort of get them over the line each game. Do you think that kind, or do you think they're going to struggle with squad depth?
I think depending on who they play, they will struggle. But if they've got, Norwich on a Sunday and a bigger Europa League team on the Thursday, I think you can kind of sacrifice a few players.
Yeah.
In the sense of even asking them, with maybe Souček saying, if you play 60 minutes tonight, you can start on versus Norwich.
Yeah.
And it's in a sense of, kind of looking at teams and thinking, would you rather give you bigger chance to win the Europa League than come in top 4, if that's what they're aiming for?
Yeah.
And if they're aiming for top 6, they might say, we'll leave the Europa League, we'll still give our all, but the Premier League comes higher.
Put all the eggs in that basket, in either basket,
it just
for example.
Depends what. Yeah. Because they've not got the depth like City to have, UCL, obviously. They've got an amazing team. They can switch 11 players, and in the Premier League still have a world-class team.
Yeah. Again, it's like, it's not just building a team now, is it? It's about building a team and squad depth, especially with a club like West Ham, who are in the Europa League. And we struggle with squad depth. We still struggle with squad depth now, but we struggle with squad depth when we were in the Europa League, for example, a lot. So it's obviously a huge issue, the Thursday and Sunday, but I think they'll manage to just get themselves over the line. And I also think that they will make a decision, like you say, to put either the eggs in either basket. Now, I want to speak to him about Emmanuel Dennis. And I think I saw that they bought him for, was it around 3 million or something like that? It was very, very cheap.
Something like that. And he is a baller.
Absolute baller.
He has been outstanding.
Funnily enough, I was watching clips of him. I think I was watching clips of him like months ago before they signed him. Just I think it was on Instagram, like on like a football account that's like showing TikToks. But he's got 16 appearances, 8 goals, and I'm not sure how many he's got. Doesn't show how many assists on this. I'm not sure if you've got it on your screen. However, for £3 million and for Watford to do that at aged, I'm not even sure. He's 24. He's 24. That is very good in my opinion. It adds some flair to them, and I think he could be the key into them possibly staying up. Do you think that he could be, or do you think that they'll still go down?
I think they will stay up because
I do.
I thought they were going to stay up from when they first came in. Sar's an outstanding player.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't really know a lot about Dennis. I remember when he scored this first goal for him. It was a nice little goal. And my brother said in the pub, he went, he's sick, I've seen him before. I went, don't lie, you've never watched him play. You just know from FIFA, because he's good in career mode. You can get him in career mode for cheap, and he's good. And he agreed. But this season, you can't deny that he has been very good for them.
Oh, yeah,
for the price that they paid as well. You can't really argue with it.
I suppose.
And I think he suits them in the sense of you wouldn't see United get Dennis.
No, yeah. I suppose they'll struggle in January and February as well, because they've got Emmanuel Dennis and as you mentioned, Ismail Assar, and both of them will be going to African Cup of Nations, I assume. So I think they probably will struggle in that sense. Now, I'm not sure whether they'll still have enough to get over the line. You've got even players like Josh King, who he's got like 5 or 6 goals this season when he had 0 goals in 2 seasons. So maybe they can get themselves over the line. Maybe they can't, but it's going to be interesting to see. I personally think they play all right football under Claudio Ranieri. Do you agree with that, or do you think it's just?
Yeah, I think they play all right football, but I think as much as it could be a bit because I like them and I want them to stay up, that I think they will. They could go down, because I think the Africa Cup of Nations will hurt them.
Yeah,
in that sense.
Definitely.
And few fixtures could be crucial.
Definitely, yeah. It's obviously there's massive, and there's going to be a huge sort of. I was discussing this last night when I was at the match. For all clubs, and especially clubs that are in the relegation fight, there's going to be such a huge fixture congestion because so many games have been postponed. There's going to be so many fixtures being played at once, and there's the possibility looming over the clubs that clubs may end up playing behind closed doors, which do you personally think that will happen? Because obviously the fans are vital to all clubs, and especially clubs like Watford. Do you think that
I
will
think
happen?
it just comes down to I think it will happen.
Yeah.
Because I think we're the only country in the UK that's not in lockdown. Right now.
And we're the one with the most population as well.
And we've had like 100,000 cases in a day.
185,000 it was yesterday, which is unbelievable.
That's ridiculous for anything. Whether it is a normal flu or whatever it is. There should be a bit. If it's not a lockdown, some restrictions in the sense of not allowing 70,000 people at a football stadium.
Well, I personally, I've not really given my opinion too much on this so far, but I personally think right now the UK is sort of like there's a fire going on around the UK, and the UK is saying we're fine whilst there's a fire, while we're sat around a fire. But I also think this is the currently right thing to do. Just let people get on with their lives at this point. Do you agree with that, or do you think again that there should be restrictions?
I understand that because of the sense of it could make suicide cases went up, and you'll have people that moan that we're not in a lockdown. I don't really care, as I've said. If it means I get to miss college, put us in a lockdown.
Yeah,
it just makes my life a bit easier in that sense.
Yeah,
but it will affect a lot of people worse than good. So a lot more people that don't get to go out, and it scares a lot of people. If Boris goes on your TV 8 p.m. on a Monday night and tells you that you've got to stay in your house because there's a killer pandemic going around, it just gives a lot of people fear.
And it stops like for example, so I saw a tweet, and I'm gonna get this tweet up. And I think it's sort of essential to read out because I think a lot of people the two people that are currently in this stream will agree with it. So someone said, if 90 minutes at a football match could improve mental health, it would already be available on prescription. Get a life, spend more time with family, and live a little in the real world. So someone quote tweeted that and said, that's the thing though, Jim. It's not just about 90 minutes at a football match. It's so much more than that to so many. It's the group chats and conversations with friends in the week leading up to a game, picking the team, predicting the score, checking the table. And it goes on. There's like a thread of 10 tweets about it. Now, it's a huge thing, and obviously to us as the channel is literally called Football Obsession, it's sort of a thing that keeps us going. Do you know what I mean? And it's sort of a pastime, and we love talking about it, and we love taking the mick out of our friends when their team loses, for example. And hopefully we can still go to the game. Last night, for example, I've not been at Old Trafford for a while because of cases and things like that. And I loved it. So hopefully we can still go to the game. But back to the sort of Watford and teams like that, it will be essential for the fans to try and, do you know what I mean, be the 12th man, if that makes sense, as they're known. Yeah. So hopefully, hopefully we beat them when we play them again. But I guess hopefully for their fans, they stay up. Newcastle my boyhood club, Newcastle will stay up. Boyhood club, I didn't know that.
It's a bit of a fraud.
bit of a fake fan here. No. Newcastle going down. Yeah, I think Newcastle will go down. We'll get into that soon, I guess. We're going to Leicester 1, Liverpool 0. And Lookman, I think he was a good player at Fulham. And he didn't do so great because he got relegated. But I think he was a good player at Fulham. Now, Liverpool just looked off the races. There was nothing going right for them. The decisions, the refereeing decisions weren't going right for them. They had injuries. They've now got more COVID cases as well. And there seems to be sort of not much rhythm the other day. And Mane seems to be off form hugely. What do you think? Do you think they'll bounce back, or?
I think they will bounce back because of the quality that they've got. It's... Yeah. Who knows? It could just be one of them teams that's now it just goes downhill. I'm not saying they're going to fall to mid-table or anything, like that. In the sense of I'd love them to, and their season just crashes. But more than likely, they're just gonna. I think they will find a way to bounce back. They've got the best right back in the world. They've got Salah. He's the best winger in the world. I think it's safe to say. As of now, at this moment in time, yeah.
I'm not saying anything.
I know
You know me.
you
I don't
don't
like
like
to
to
praise
say it.
rival.
You don't praise them, but I think it's got to be a point where, in a sense, like you just have to admit it. Whether you don't want to say it or not, in your head, you know it. You know they have got one of the best teams, and it's painful
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
they slapped us 5-0, and that's what makes it worse. It's not like we're two teams competing, and when it comes to that big game, there's a lot of hope, and it's just
Yeah.
someone will win. We were thinking, could be a 1-1, 0-0, boring game. And then we go out there and get destroyed 5-0 by the Scousers. And it's
It was
just not what you
awful.
want to see.
Yeah, it was awful. It's not a memory that I would want to have, but I have got it. I sort of wish I wasn't at Old Trafford that day. But people in the chat are hoping Burnley go down. Ibrahim says time to dip. We're always Liverpool slander in here. With Leicester now, there's been a lot of talk about Brendan Rodgers, and obviously he's just won them the FA Cup. And he is an all right manager, I guess. I wouldn't want him at United or anything like that. What's your thoughts? Do you think he should go and pave way for someone like Graham Potter, for example, or do you think he's the right man for them? Because there's a lot of talk surrounding Leicester fans surrounding Brendan Rodgers.
I think he's very average. He's never, could change, but I think he's just like your average manager. You're never really going to see him compete for UCL or the Premier League constantly, though. Ranieri went on to win the league.
Yeah.
And then never really did anything. So it could just happen in one season, which is why you can't just say that he would never win it. But it will never be consistent, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
You'll probably never see him at a team like United. I would say Liverpool, but
I agree. I
now,
agree with you.
in the sense of how teams are, you'll never see him at a huge title competing team.
I agree with you. And when we were linked with him, I really didn't want him. Zach Morris says, "Good on you, Kyne. Good. I hope you're all right, Zach. I know you don't see Mason much, but I hope you and him are all right. I hope you're all right. Everything's all right surrounding you. I appreciate you coming into the chat. Yeah, I'll come and see you and Ryan soon, I guess. I always thought Donny supported Ajax. Time to dip. He's done bloody McFred. I only support United, but Ajax is my team to watch outside of England. Yeah, fair enough. Dia says. So we're going to City Brentford now. Someone who you've just admitted to liking, a player who you just admitted to liking is.
Oh, I've liked him for a while anyway, but that goal that Phil Foden scored, it's outstanding.
I had the Chelsea game on
Liverpool, and I know I was watching City, but it's just that goal. Have you seen the goal by Foden?
I've not. No.
Go on YouTube and watch it.
I can't stand Foden. Like everything
I know
about Phil Foden.
What we're talking about it, but it's just like it's a beautiful, just outstanding. As a football fan, watching that, and an England fan, it's good for the future that we've got him as an England player.
Oh yeah, as an England fan, undoubtedly, yeah. As an England fan, yeah.
Obviously, as a United fan, I hate to see that they've got a player of that.
I do think he's overrated compared to what his actual sort of how good he actually is. But I'm not denying it. He's going to be good for England. I'm absolutely not saying anything about City or anything like that. I'm trying to avoid all of his club career. But on a real note, they've just managed to scrape past Brentford, and this title is theirs to lose. And it just is. And originally, I have to admit, I was completely wrong because I thought City haven't got a striker, so maybe they're going to struggle. Like they just wasted £100 million on Jack Grealish, which I still think they wasted £100 million on Jack Grealish. Now, what's your thoughts? Do you think they're gonna challenge in the Champions League again, or do you think they're gonna crash out of the Champions League?
I think they're gonna crash out of the Champions League because I have got faith that we will win it. I've had it for a while, regardless of what happens. I've just got a feeling.
Actually. Since the Villarreal game,
but yeah.
Since the
Ronaldo being there, he's missed the UCL. If Ronaldo wants to win the Champions League,
we'll win it.
We're going to win the Champions League.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't stop him. It's inevitable.
Exactly, yeah,
You know, you
exactly.
could sub him on at the 88th minute while 2-0 down, and he's going to score 2 goals.
Yeah, exactly. He is Mr. Champions League. He scored 6 goals in 5 games in the group stage. I do think there's huge questions to be asked about our squad as to whether we can get over the line against Atletico Madrid. There's huge questions to be asked. Last night was a good response to the fans, to our sort of response to their performance on Monday. I would say. I'm gonna go on to our game now. Scott McTominay. You know I like Scott McTominay, and
I
he's
like it as
such a
well.
huge.
I think the issue is that we've got, in a sense of, not on a negative note, you know, it's positive,
No.
we won, keep going forward with that, is the whole midfield bit, there's always just debates going on, you know. There's kind of a McTominay side, there's Fred's better, Van der Beek's better, Bruno's out of the conversation for that sense because he's the best midfielder we've got.
I'm not sure.
But the issue with him that we're seeing now
from the midfield.
is the possession with Bruno. Because
Yeah.
I don't know if you were one of the things I was speaking about it on Twitter, but someone was saying about how good he is. And don't get me wrong, he got us top 4 that season. He carried us. It's undeniable. But he tries to do the best pass possible, and it works none. You know, maybe once.
Yeah.
And then it looks good when it works, but the other 9 times out of 10,
it reminds me of
pointless 'cause we can
Pogba.
concede.
It reminds me of Pogba. Like don't. I always used to say it with Pogba, like back to 2017, 2018, for example. I hate how, as a team, and not just Pogba, as a team, we used to always try the fancy thing. Lukaku used to do it when he was playing for us, and Pogba used to do it, and Sanchez used to do it, and it's like, just keep it simple, and it always goes back to the thing, which it sounds stupid what I'm about to say, but say last season when we were 1-0 down or 1-1 in like the 80th minute, for example, and we're trying to look for a winner, and there's always with our team, there's always shots which is like, why are you shooting from there? Do you know what I mean? And I always say when I'm watching the games, it has to be calculated desperation. It always has to be calculated. With Bruno Fernandes, I'm sorry, but last night we didn't miss him. I love Bruno Fernandes. I undoubtedly he's a great player, but right now we're better off without him starting. I just, that's my opinion, and I don't know whether you agree with that. Do you agree with that?
I agree because of how he plays. And I spoke to my dad about it with Bruno. Is he plays in a sense like he's a Ronaldo, not as how I'd play style, but as if, you know, he deserves loads of stuff because of what he's done. He's not really won anything. You know, he's not got a reason to go, I've done this for you, I've done that. You know, you got us top 4, which we're thankful for. You saved the season. But as you know, the Fernandes memes go, and it takes skill to score a penalty.
Yeah.
You know, majority of his goals that time were from penalties.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you also have to look at, if you take away the penalties, would we still get top 4? I don't think so.
No.
He's a good
But a
player.
penalty is still a goal. Like,
it's a goal's a goal. You know, comes from the penalty.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it does take skill to score them. You've got to have, you know, the focus. You've seen De Bruyne miss him. You're not going to say it. I'll say it. Best midfielder in the world. It's, you know, it's a fact.
When players are trying stupid things like that, it's lack of good coaching, in my opinion. Bruno can't be in our team if we want to keep more possession of the ball. I wouldn't bring him back in the starting 11 versus Wolves, and Diaz just said exactly the same thing as me. I just wouldn't. I just think we looked so much better, and I don't know, we looked more calm, and that's an issue with our team a lot. We need to just relax, stay calm, and we don't stay calm very often. Now, I want to ask you about the defense as well, because last night I thought it was a great performance from everyone in the defense except Harry Maguire. Now, obviously, I was speaking about Harry Maguire on yesterday's stream, saying he's absolutely not captain material. But Luke Shaw, great performance. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, great performance. Probably, I'd say it's low-key one of his best games for us, in my opinion. And Bailly, great performance. But Bailly's so injury-prone, he went off injured. And this is my point, and I keep saying it. I want Bailly to be our starting centre back, but he's just too injury prone. What do you think our best defence is? Our best back four?
I'd say if they're fully fit, and not really. If you take away form and you think start the season, everyone's fit, first game of the season, I'd have Dallo, Varane, Bailly, and Tellez. I think that is our best back line. If you look at form from last season in the sense of how they were, Shaw has to be there, but he's fell off massively. I seen someone on Twitter say it's due to the Euros with all England players.
He also had a broken rib as well, and he was playing through a broken rib. I'm not sure if you've seen that. I seen it much later than everyone else. Actually, I think I seen it a week later than everyone else seen it, and I don't know why. But it's a very confusing sort of situation because Varane came on and was good. However, Varane didn't perform very well on Monday, but neither did Maguire. I want to ask you about McTominay. Now, I'm going to say it here. Scott McTominay is better than Donny van de Beek. He's also better than Jordan Henderson. And people may think I'm trolling, but he's not a CDM, is he? He's not. He was a striker in the academy. And he was... He has been played at CDM, and it's completely the wrong position to use him. Every single time he plays in that box-to-box role, which is very rare, he's played in that box-to-box role against Leeds last season and this season, against Newcastle at home this season, and yesterday night against Burnley at home. Now, I think he can be one of our best midfielders as a box-to-box midfielder. What's your thoughts on Scott McTominay?
I like him, and he's good. I think if you do look at, winning a Champions, being constantly competing for the Champions League or the Prem, he's not really going to be there. Looking at over a couple of years' time, bringing players in, selling players, benching players, I don't think he'd be there. But I think that he should start. And I get, the McFred stuff with Donny. I think Van der Beek's very average.
So do I.
And I know a lot of United fans get upset by that, but you've also got to think when he's not getting minutes and people say it's because of what the manager wants to do. There's got to be a reason for it.
Yeah,
I don't believe that he's just gone, I'll sign him, not play him, stick to what I want to do.
And then Ralph Rangnick comes in and does the same thing as well. It doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, it's got to be something there which is just not good enough and not adapted enough. And there could be an argument to be made that it's not actually Van der Beek's fault because Van der Beek hadn't played for 9 months just as we signed him. And that was due to the Eredivisie being shut down, obviously due to COVID. So that there's an underlying issue there. But I agree with you. I just think he's not taking his chances when he's played. I would like to see him get some more minutes, but he's absolutely not taking his chances when he played. And if you look at players like McTominay, like when he first came into the team, he did take his chances. In my opinion, do you agree with that? Do you agree that McTominay could be a better player going forward in the sense of being a squad player for us than Van der Beek? Or
I think he is. If we got to this season, the end of the season transfer window, and I was told one's got to go. It's Van der Beek, because, as you said, 2 managers now aren't playing him. I'd understand if you might think that inexperience for Ollie is the reason he's not played, and that's understandable that you think there's a reason.
Yeah,
because it's the manager's fault. But Ralph comes in, doesn't play him. There's something going on behind the scenes, and that's what no one thinks about.
Yeah,
could be attitude, or he could just be struggling in training, and he could be world class, and he's just struggling in training, and then when he gets to play, he's not got confidence. Who knows?
There's so many issues, which it's just not as simple as just giving minutes, is it? There's so many different issues. Now, I want to get into this comment, Armani, because you say it's always an excuse for talentless good squad play. Now, I'm sure you probably noticed that, and most people in here probably do notice that. But for I think it's 86 years and counting now. We've had an academy product in the starting 11 every single game for 86 years on the row. Now, McTominay is an exact definition of an academy product that really cares about this club. Now, I'm going to give an example of Ravel Morrison, which is very, very difficult to give an example of Ravel Morrison because there was so many underlying issues between his environment, people he was surrounded with, his ADHD that was undiagnosed at the time. But he didn't. I'm not saying he didn't care, but he was focused on other things outside of football, outside of sort of in his actual life. And McTominay is purely focused on football and improving, in my opinion. So I think there's a reason why people like me and other people tend to sort of maybe give him what you would call excuses, because he cares more than a lot of other players, in my opinion. And I'm not saying he, like Monday night, for example, yesterday's stream, I was saying he got to put more effort in than he did on Monday night, and he did last night, and he played in that role which he's more comfortable in and did well. So I just wanted to address that one there. Van der Beek average, I can't wait till he leaves this mess of a club, man. I understand that you think he's a good player. We obviously just disagree. We need more depth in the midfield and keep rotating all of them. So you still agree we need a holding midfielder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we still need an actual holding midfielder, because as of now, we might be able to play well, but we've still not got the player, which is what people forget. Is we're going a couple of wins, and then a lot of people just forget that we still need that position, and it is crucial to, if we do want to go on to challenge for the title.
Yeah.
Consistent.
Yeah, I agree with you. Have you got someone in mind who you would say we need as a holding midfielder?
I think the one that I really want is Rice, but I just don't think it'll happen because of Chelsea. If you take Chelsea out the equation, it's Rice. He's coming to us. He doesn't want to play for United.
No, yeah. Have you got someone else in mind, like a realistic option as well?
I think not really. No, there's just no one that I can.
I'd like Bissouma. I think we go, and I know you're going to disagree with this. We're going to Brighton and say, here's 75 million to 100 million pound. Give us Bissouma, give us Tariq Lamptey, bish bash bong. I think that's what we do. But I know you think he's a very. I just
don't think United will do it for one, and I. Oh
no, yeah.
Also, it comes down as well to who you can just like a player because of the way they play.
Yeah.
Where, you have people that like Van der Beek. I don't. It's not that I dislike him in a personal sense. There's nothing personal about it. It's just as a football player, and it's the same for years. Well, 2 years, I'd say. I've really liked Trent Alexander-Arnold. And I've just stuck by him since then. It's tough because of who he plays for, and that's what makes it an issue. If he played for Everton, it'd be a bit more easier.
Yeah.
Anyone but Liverpool or City, that's the issue. But I just got to admit it, and I think I did when he was pocketed a couple of players in a row. We did it to Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Rashford did make him his dog though when he scored.
I remember that. I went to that game with my auntie. I went to that game with my auntie instead of my uncle. I remember that. I can't remember exactly what year what it was. Was it 2017 or 2018?
I think it was 17 because Trent was still quite young.
Yeah.
He was just coming into the team.
I've got a random question as well. Do you know why Trent has 66 on the back of his shirt? Is that because that's when we won the World Cup, or is there something else there?
I think it might just have been his academy number.
Okay.
And then when he came through.
I always wondered.
Because a lot of academy players have an academy number when they still come through with the first season.
Okay, so yeah.
For example, Charlie Savage. I think it was a fairly high number that he had.
Even McTominay has still got a high number.
Yeah,
39, isn't it? Yeah.
It could just stick with him. If you play in an academy for 6 years, you could just get used to being number 66. I don't know that much if it is that or a more in-depth thing. I know he used to play midfield.
Yeah,
But I'm not sure if there's more to it.
Amani says we need 2 world-class midfielders, not just one. And TA says Pogba. Now, Pogba's another player I want to ask your opinion on, because I'm sure you know my opinion on Pogba. That I think it's just not worked out. Genuinely, like, oh, I dislike Pogba or anything like that. I think he's got priorities away from Manchester United in the sense his dream is to play for Real Madrid, and we've known that since even before he came in, since the advert of blah blah blah, just as the promotion of him signing for United. It was, is he going to sign for Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, or Manchester United? And obviously he signed for us. Now it's just not worked out, has it? And it can't be a coincidence, in my opinion, that there's dressing room unrest this season, and there was dressing room unrest under Jose Mourinho. And Jose Mourinho said Paul Pogba is one of the problems. Do you agree with that, or what is your thoughts on the Paul Pogba situation?
I agree with it because he doesn't seem to care for the club.
No.
Whether, some players love the football, regardless of football in its own sense. And he could, he loves doing his little skills and his fancy stuff.
Yeah.
And he can be into all that, but that's just not going to work at United. It's not really going to work in the Prem. You do get the odd people like St. Maximin or Ben Arthur where they can just do it, and it's outstanding when they do it. Pogba can't. You do see, with Fulham, his goal that he scored.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
I found my Snapchat memories about it, and at the start of the game, and this is Pogba's issue, is I called him a rat. I don't like him, and then he scored the banger, and it was just, I don't like him, but I feel like he has got the ability. He just doesn't always show it.
He always goes on that run. He always has a good run in the season, whether that's in the middle of the season, which he did last season, or it's at the start of the season, which he did this season. He always has a good run. I remember he scored against Burnley as well last season, away, and it was like the 70th minute. And Pogba made that sort of TikTok, didn't he, with him and Martial, and Martial's face when the ball was going in. I remember that. But again, he's just simply too inconsistent and doesn't warrant, in my opinion, £500,000 per week, which he is demanding. He doesn't warrant being the highest paid Premier League player.
I don't think any footballer deserves.
Not in the Premier League currently.
People have the arguments with the difference of the pay. It's more because of how elite you have to be to play at the Premier League. The revenue is why you can be paid that money. But 500 grand a week, I don't think anyone, even Ronaldo's level, which is outstanding, just doesn't warrant 500
No,
grand
it doesn't.
a week.
And it's ridiculous. Not just, it isn't just Paul Pogba that's an issue when you get Paul Pogba. There's a lot of baggage with Paul Pogba, isn't there? It's the same with Lukaku, which we will get into. There's a lot of baggage with Mino Raiola that likes to chat shit all the time, and then there's a lot of baggage with Pogba that also likes to chat shit all the time, and Pogba's brother that also likes to chat shit, which it in the end becomes very tiring. And I sort of, I'm sure you've seen, I've given the video of like the clip of Rihanna's song "Stay," round and around and around we go, and constantly all we're hearing from Pogba is, I might sign my contract and I might not. Now, we don't need to hear that. Just make a decision and stick with that decision. We don't need to hear I might or I might not. Just make your mind up whenever you want to make your mind up, and just be quiet in the media. It's tiring. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's also distracting for the other players. Now, I think it would be a huge statement if Ralph Rangnick and whoever the next manager is, because I assume Ralph Rangnick will be in contact with other managers leading up to May, and then obviously next August. I think it will be a big decision to get rid of Pogba, because he is sort of known as like the kingpin of the dressing room in a way, alongside Ronaldo. Do you know what I mean? And again, there's so much talk around Pogba. I don't think a huge player like that, unless it's Cristiano Ronaldo, really suits us. Do you agree with us? Do you agree with that?
I agree with that, because and it's kind of hard to look at in a sense for me, where when I speak to other people about it, they're a bit older.
Yeah,
they can compare it to players in the past. I know of the older players, but I can't speak in a sense like I watch them like I do now.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like Pogba thinks he's bigger than United.
Yeah,
he sees him as, I'm Paul Pogba and I'm playing football.
And Mr. Social Media and Mr. Adidas.
Yeah, he does. That is in his bio, and I don't know if it's changed now. Everything was Adidas. It was football player for Adidas. His logo was him and Adidas. Everything was with Adidas in France. Where Bruno Fernandes, and this is what, and he's a very passionate player, which is what I will give him, respect is in his bio, which Manchester United player loves it, profile, everything. And because I've seen the tweet that was one's an academy graduate, and one of them has been bought from Portugal. You know, can you tell the difference who's who? And you'd assume that Bruno came from the academy because of how much that. And if you look at, you know, Rashford, how much he loves the club, Lingard, in the sense of he does need to leave for his career. And if he could go anywhere, I'd want him to go West Ham.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Whole, you know, what happened last season.
And he'd be very happy there. I didn't want him to leave
because I do, and you can tell the difference was, you know, and obviously there's personal things where I do follow him on Snapchat. He's got a daughter. I'm pretty sure it's his kid. I assume it is. I don't know if there's any.
It's always sort of weird to think Lingard's got a child in it.
Like thing, but it's because he's always because him and Rashford are like best mates, and they always used to do funny Instagram videos of pretending to be cats,
and quite immature, which is what just young lads do.
And
like us young
thought,
lads.
Rashford's 19, so you'd assume Lingard's 19 as well.
He's
just a bit older, and he's just. But you know, you can't knock him for it because he's having fun. I think that will help Rashford in the sense of if you're 19, you've gone into the first team, and none of the players want to sit with you, talk with you. Do you know?
Oh yeah.
It can be a lot harder than Lingard introducing you to everyone.
Yeah,
dancing around, messing with Zlatan Ibrahimovic in the locker room.
Yeah, And I just want to compare like players like Pogba to players like a player like Pogba to players like Brian Robson, Roy Keane, Eric Cantona, Bobby Charlton, and these players are obviously Manchester United icons. Like we idolize these players, even though we didn't see too much of them as obviously we're both quite young. Now, you never really see the passion from. Like Eric Cantona, I'm not sure if you've watched the United Way on Amazon Prime yet with Eric Cantona.
I've seen it. It.
And the way Eric Cantona speaks about Man United, he absolutely adores the club. If you listen to a Pogba interview with United, it's almost robotic, and it's the same with Harry Maguire. It's not just Pogba. There's other issues with other players, but we're just talking about Pogba here. It's almost robotic, like he's been told what to say by his media team, and it's almost robotic. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean because I've seen videos where now in academies they have like press conferences like as part of your training, and I think an issue is they will be taught what to say, and it won't be speak your own mind on the club.
No,
if a question revolving this, that you say this, and if you don't say this, you're going to get fined. However much behind the scenes, you know what I mean? Or
we never hear. So Eric Cantona says at Manchester United, I felt at home instantly. We've never heard any quote like that from players like Paul Pogba, players like Harry Maguire, these other players like that. We just don't hear quotes like that. We've not heard quotes like that from Donny van der Beek, from even Dean Henderson. At this point, we don't hear quotes like that from these issues with these players. You know what I mean? That's other back behind the scenes sort of thing. Dia says you can't compare Pogba with these players. Armani says all I'm gonna say is Pogba was influential in us winning our last trophy. So for France winning World Cup and Nations League, it's more than just things on the pitch. Too many talents came here and flopped. Ollie's interviews robotic as well. I don't think Ollie's interviews was robotic. Do you?
No, I think it was just him being a genuine.
Yeah.
Because he did it, you know, in his last game. He smiled and apologised. It's just how he is in the senses. He smiles as a bit of a, like, you know.
He's quite a happy-go-lucky guy, isn't he?
He's just, that's how he is. I don't think Ollie's that robotic.
No.
But Maguire is, you go, what do you think about the loss? And he's just, no, we shouldn't have lost today. It's the player's fault.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly.
And then walks off. You've been told to say that 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to give an example of an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer interview that wasn't robotic. I think it was the day we signed Ronaldo, it was the day we signed Ronaldo. And that day, obviously, we hadn't... Ole Gunnar Solskjaer couldn't really say we're signing Ronaldo by saying we're signing Ronaldo. But he got asked about it, and all he said was, when you play for Man United, you don't play for Man City. That is huge. That is a huge sort of thing to say. Do you know what I mean? That is absolutely not robotic. That is, and he said it with pure passion as well. I think I've still got the video saved on my phone. I wouldn't say that was sort of robotic.
I know what you're talking about. I've seen it, and when he speaks, you can just tell because he just And it's not like he's saying it in like a been told to say it way. There's a bit of passion behind it, and it's if you play for United, you don't play for City. There's like an unwritten rule. Is you
Exactly,
never
yeah.
play
Especially
for
nowadays, like with Dennis
Yeah.
Law, for example, he played for City prior to playing for us, and then went back to
Yeah.
City, but they weren't challenging or anything. And then Peter Schmeichel went to City, but they weren't challenging or anything, despite Peter Schmeichel celebrating against us. But like with Tevez,
speaking of that, with Schmeichel, is Neville refused to shake his hand and speak to him in the little tunnel before they came out to the pitch and whenever when he's playing for City.
Oh, Neville, did you
Other
say?
United,
Sorry.
other United players are speaking to Schmeichel. He goes over to shake Neville's hand and he just blanks him, stares forward.
I feel like Neville
And
gets a lot of hate.
People
which
will see that and go, "Why are you doing that? You know, he played for your club." Neville understands.
Yeah.
That if you play for United, you don't play for City.
I feel like he gets so much sort of criticism towards him, Gary Neville, which is so undeserved. I was literally having a debate this morning about Gary Neville, and someone said he was a bang average player, and I said Gary Neville has himself admitted he wasn't exactly the best talented, but the hard work and the dedication put in, and the time put in, and just pure skill as well, put in into becoming one of the key parts into United winning the treble, which is the best achievement in English football history. It is what makes him a Man United legend, and all the trophies he won with us, and the fact that he cares so much, and the fact that he's an academy graduate. So I wouldn't say he was a bang average player at all. Dia says, do you think McTominay can ever become a Man United captain? Do you?
Yes. And I think it comes down again to the passion as well. And if I think of, a game where we're 1-0 down and say Pogba as an example, it's not, just as we're speaking about him, or anyone is, playing, not putting all the effort in when it's a must-win game and it's 0-0, 1-0 down, we need to win it. I can picture him, shouting at the players, trying to get something out of the other players if he's putting in 100% effort. And, Rashford isn't, for example, and he's just kind of jogging back, he's not tracking back, he's just not following the system, for example. I can see McTominay shouting at him.
I agree.
Trying to get them to win the game.
He's very vocal, McTominay. And obviously, we always seem to compare captains and players to players like Roy Keane. I've done it I've done it probably about 5 or 10 times in this podcast. Players like Roy Keane, Brian Robson, etc., etc., etc. And I've just thought in my head, like, we're never really going to get another captain like Roy Keane, are we? Because he's probably the best captain in football history, especially in the Premier League history. He's the best captain. In football history, he's probably the best captain. But I personally do as well. I think he's very vocal and cares so much that he can be captain. Neville was world class, best right back in Prem history. I know you disagree with that because I know you think it's Trent.
I think he is the best right back in Prem history now.
Okay.
I think 10 years down the line, even as much as you would hate to admit it, you will sit at home watching highlights. It'll come up on your Sky Sports on your TV after Trent retires, and you'll have to admit it because he's just going to be. When people talk about his lack of defensive ability, and that's a load of waffle.
I don't think he's got a lack of defensive ability.
They don't watch him. It's rival fans, and it's you never catch like Brighton saying it. It'll always be United fans, City fans.
Oh yeah,
Everton, Chelsea.
But any used to slander a Liverpool player though.
Yeah, I understand it. You've got to do it sometimes. I used to do it. I won't deny it. And then at one point, it just kind of clicked, and I understood in the sense of, I agree with Neville is the best right back in Prem history as of now. I think you could change, might not change. Trent could go downhill. I don't think he will. I think he'll win a couple more Prems and he'll win a couple more UCLs. I don't want him to, because the issue with that is I can't want him to succeed because of the team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like, I'd love him to retire with a few UCLs under his name and a few Premier Leagues, but he's at Liverpool and that means they win 4 Premier Leagues with 3 more UCLs. And I can't watch that.
I hope not.
I can't watch them win 4
exactly.
Premier Leagues whilst we're just sinking.
Exactly. We'll go into the last game, Chelsea versus Brighton. Now, Lukaku scored Oh my God. The opinions I've got on Lukaku, I've had the opinions way, way, way before the past 24 hours. Years ago, from when, just before Lukaku left, I had opinions about Lukaku where he never suited the Premier League anyway, in my opinion. And he always was scoring goals. But in the Premier League, especially in this modern day era, it's so much more than just scoring goals. And two examples of that is Michail Antonio and Edinson Cavani. Edinson Cavani last night, let me just say, he never stops moving. Never stops moving. He didn't score or get an assist, but he never stops moving, and he's so intelligent, the football intelligence. And I don't feel like Lukaku has so much of that. He's big and he's strong and he's fast and he's sort of mobile, but he's not a great player in the Premier League from what I seen at United and what I see at Chelsea. Also, the attitude of Romelu Lukaku, when he, just before he left us, I remember him going on a podcast when he was on holiday with Pogba, I remember. And he went on a podcast and said, I want to leave, and started chatting so much rubbish about the club. And it was just such a poor attitude to have. And now he's done a similar thing with Chelsea. What's your opinion?
I think it's just disgusting. You know,
Yeah.
Chelsea's not my club. I can't like them. Can't say what they are because nowadays that's not.
Oh, yeah. No,
say that stuff
say that on
anymore.
air.
Can't say that on YouTube, mate. But you know what it is, and I think
Yeah.
a lot of United football fans know what it is. But you know, you shouldn't be doing it. You're supposed to be a professional footballer. If you want to leave, you speak privately with the manager, with the board, with your agent. You don't got, you know, it's just disrespectful is the main way to put it.
Exactly.
Especially if, you know, they sign you, they're like, right, he's coming back, big money, and he just does that. He's just not.
He was never worth £100 million anyway, in my opinion. I always said he will not do well at Chelsea. I know he's just got 2 goals in 2 games, but it's just the attitude that he has. He's more suited to the Serie A when he was at Inter Milan, which he's saying he loves. And that, but now I don't know if you've seen Inter Milan have put a banner up and saying we don't want you back or something similar to that. So.
Because I think the reason for that will be, although he was good there and whatever, and you know he might not have had that bad attitude, they don't know he's not going to be like that.
No,
you know?
yeah.
He comes back, they stop kind of challenging for a bit, and then he just goes, "Oh, I want to leave now. I don't want to play here anymore."
The translation was, "You left us during the storm. Don't come back during sun." Something like that.
And that's understandable because, you know, Conte left.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he's just gone, well, I'm going to leave. If you'd have stayed and left next year, it could have been different.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just left while it got a bit messy there with the board and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gone off to Chelsea. And
yeah. DS says, as much as I feel disgusted, these Lukaku quotes are very entertaining. Yeah, I agree with you because he did such a similar thing to us, and it's like, it serves you right for buying him, you lot. Do you know what I mean? It really serves you right for buying him. Now, Imani says, Welbeck. As soon as Welbeck scored in the group chat, I said in the group chat, that guy Welbs, he always is just that guy, Welbeck. I've rooted for him since I was very young. I don't know about you. What's your opinion on Welbeck? Do you still like sort of
I still like him.
Yeah.
And you can see the whole, I feel like he's one of the players that when he retires and he goes on podcasts and he speaks about United, he'll speak of them highly. And, you know, he'll have the respect for the club, regardless of, you know,
whatever went wrong and him celebrating the club. Yeah, it's the club. Regardless of that, he loves the club. And I can
see him that he'll, you know, have the whole when he speak about the club highly, which a lot of players do.
He's from Manchester as well. Well, it's from Longside, you know what I mean? So which is an area in Manchester, in case anyone didn't know. So he obviously does love the club highly and probably still supports the club as well. Now, he's obviously not the best player, but it's always great to see him scoring in it. It just is. I used to love Welbeck. I really did. We'll get into the last question, though, of the stream. Do you guys have any updates on Julian Alvarez? Now, the last thing I seen was that we're actually not interested. That was from someone from the Mail or something like that. I think you replied to my retweet saying from the Mail with laughing emojis.
Yeah, because the sauce was literally just bracket mayo, and that was it. There was no like, actual sauce. It was just mayo. Like, trust me, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
something like that.
This.
I don't think we are interested though. I just want to clarify. I have absolutely no sources, despite talking to Fabrizio Romano once and doing an interview with him on 13th of January. Cheeky little plug there. I have absolutely no sources with anyone. I speak to Ibrahim, who gets some sources, but I don't really have any sources at all. I'm going to be honest with you. But I just want to say thank you, Kyne, for coming on. Have you got any plans for tonight for New Year's Eve?
Not really, no. I think it's gonna be a chill one. No, just intending now just to chill out, might watch a film, and then have your little countdown.
Yeah.
2022.
I always get a bit emotional.
Crazy, though. I think it's kind of crazy that, we're not far away now from going into a new year. And it's just...
Oh, yeah.
Because last year, it was weird as well, where there was no, it's just a strange little thing every time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's very... it's a weird feeling, isn't it? Like, another year gone.
It's just, bloody hell, we're closer to getting into 2025 and just getting further into the future.
Exactly, yeah.
Thinking,
we'll have flying cars soon.
What's going to happen,
Yeah.
Time machine's coming out.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. I want to say thank you for coming on, though. I appreciate that. And you came on quite short notice as well, within 24 hours. So I appreciate that. You might see Kyne on the channel a lot more as well. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it, like we say. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good New Year, and I'll speak to you in the New Year. The next stream is going to be Tuesday at, I can't be sure exactly what time, but I'm going to say 1 p.m. I've got a driving lesson on Tuesday, so I can't be sure. I can't be sure of the exact time. I've also got to do some things on Tuesday as well before I start my job. But thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you later.